Well, it has been a long time since we've had 3 lives back to back. I can't remember the last time we did. So at least I know someone's notification works. I won't be too hard on YouTube because I didn't even really have time to tell anybody we were going live. I just kind of said in the last show about little Quentin, I said we might be going live. And then I saw a comment from Mama B saying, I sent you all the papers. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know what we're getting into, but we're about to get into it. I did roughly go over it. This is the probable cause. It's been unsealed. Shay gets a prize. What will the prize be? Shay 44 said, I've been to every live today. You know, like when you show up to Sunday school so many Sundays in a row and you get a candy bar? I got to figure out what Shay's candy bar is going to be. Hello, tough as nails. Shep, 3 times in one day. Shep gets candy bar. Natasha's here. Clumsy's here. Other people are listening. They're just not chatting. Come in and say hi and then get back to what you're doing. Oh, Shep's only been in for 2. Shep doesn't get a candy bar. Shay wants money. You came to the wrong creator. I think I got $1.50 in my wallet. Shep, oh, sweet talker. Birdie wants a payday candy bar. Man, now I'm getting hungry for candy. Hello, Tina. Hello, Joe. Well, I'm going to go through first. This is a clip that came out a couple of days ago. Hello, Nana Barb. Basically saying that they don't think Richard Allen is the only person involved. I've never thought he was the only person involved. I think there's a sick ped ring that they've cracked into. If you remember in the Dropbox, it was said that Keegan, KK, that his Dropbox opened one of the biggest CP rings in Indiana history. So I don't think this discovery with Richard, which I'm just going to go ahead and take a leap here and say he was more than just hiding in plain sight. He was more than just hiding in plain sight. Just from what I have scanned. Also, really quick, if you're ever concerned about if your employer can replace you really fast, this is from the CVS in Delphi, Indiana. Hiring multiple candidates, smart fill available. This is for the pharmacy technician. I know of one pharmacy technician that used to work there that's in jail right now. And we're getting ready to read the probable cause. I went through it and I don't see, not that I have the legal mind that these people have, I don't see what the big damn deal was about not unsealing it. Just as of yesterday, the new judge assigned. Hello, replay crew. I almost said clue again. Replay crew. The judge yesterday was undecided about opening it. Well, what a difference a good night's sleep makes, because today it's unsealed. What the hell? I don't know. My mind is kind of blown too. It truly is. I seriously just put together, well, you know how I put together videos, a couple of hours ago saying she was still thinking on it. She must have saw my video and decided to unseal it. You can thank me. All right, so here's where the prosecutor is saying that they do not think Richard Allen is the only one involved.
Ankles shackled, the man charged with murdering 2 Indiana girls makes his way into court. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jennifer Bayless. New at noon, the prosecutor in Delphi, Indiana said today he believes Richard Allen may not be the only person involved in the murders of Libby German and Abby Williams. Allen was brought to court this morning in shackles. Today's hearing was to decide whether arrest records and other documents should be unsealed and shown to the public. Libby German and Abby Williams went missing while hiking in February 2017, and their bodies were found a day later. Officers arrested Allen last month. This morning, the prosecutor argued documents should remain sealed because Allen may not be the only person involved in this case and said witnesses could be harassed. The judge said the documents will remain sealed for now. A bail hearing for Allen was also granted.
Who are you going to harass? Hello, Jinbug. What's up, girlfriend? Hi, Indie girl. Lisa Mosley made it in. Birdie said the glitch in the Matrix. I'll take your word for it. All right, so let me put it on the screen. Mama B, did you put this in the... I saw it in the Discord. I saw some pending posts. I need to get some people put in place in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group, because I'm not always in there, and sometimes I'll come in and there'll be like 12 pending posts. That would be my fault for not checking more. I will get back on that, or get some people that can... It's pending in the group. I think I found my girl. Clumsy Clairvoyant said there is some real conflicting information in regards to what the witnesses described as bridge guy. I mean, one girl said he was dressed all in black head to toe. Yeah, I skimmed over it. Let's see what you guys get out of it. So I'm just going to go page by page. There's some things I'm not going to read through because they really have no significance to us as a true crime community. But if you see something that you need me to back up and go over again, we will. So I've got the Dollar Tree spectacles on. Here we are, page 1, probable cause affidavit. It says, I, the undersigned affiant, submit the following information pursuant to, something I will skip over, as sworn affidavit setting forth the facts and circumstances known to law enforcement of Carroll County as the basis for probable cause to arrest without a warrant or to establish probable cause for issuance of an arrest warrant for the above named defendant. And above is Richard M. Allen. That the hearsay statements of witnesses contained herein are considered reliable and credible due to the witness's personal knowledge and or are corroborated by the totality of the circumstances. Makes me think of when Doug Carter said at the bottom of that hill, or over that hill, is the totality of evil. Totality is the word. On February 14th, 2017, Victim 1 and Victim 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of the Deer Creek. So that's something that we already knew. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek in Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest on the trail from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge is the Freedom Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25. Approximately 350 feet west of Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area with a steep embankment, the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. So that gives us an idea of the area, I guess you can say. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video of the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators believe victim 1 and victim 2 were dropped off across from the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13th, 2017 by blank. Well, we know who dropped them off. The Mears farm is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near an entrance to the trails. A video from victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13 p.m., victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the guys down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time. Okay, now I was under the impression that guys down the hill was not a complete sentence, that was broken up. So I guess we know that he said guys down the hill. It wasn't guys and then another sentence or paragraph. It was guys down the hill. All right, so we got that. No witnesses saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14th, 2017. The video recovered from victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches victim 1, which would be Abby, and victim 2, because victim 2 would be Libby, because she's the one that took the video, one of the victims mentions gun. Oh. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys down the hill. The girls then begin to proceed down the hill and the video ends. A still photograph taken from the video and the guys down the hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. So they said that the clip, this isn't in the probable cause, this is me talking, that the clip was 46 seconds long. So basically the audio was guys down the hill and one of the girls said gun. Victim 1 and victim 2's deaths were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to victim 1 and victim 2. Okay. South of where their bodies were located. There was also a .40 caliber round less than 2 feet from victim 2's body. Between victim 1 and victim 2's bodies, the round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. And also, this is really little type, so I'm doing the best I can. But that's really important. There was a .40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from victim 2's body between victim 1 and victim 2's bodies. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles, blank and blank. They advised they were on the bridge on February 13th, 2017. They advised they were walking on the trail towards Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. Blank described the male as kind of creepy and advised he was wearing like blue jeans, a like really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. Blank advised she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. She described him as not very tall, with a bigger build. She said he was not bigger than 5'10". WTF, I just put in the Facebook group a few days ago a picture of Richard Allen, and I said, is he bridge guy? Because he's a little fella. He's not that big. He can't be taller than me. I'm 5'4". Hey, Hawkeye Seneca. Hey, Cat's Life. Big difference between Richard Allen's height and what's being described here as 5'10". She said he was not bigger than 5'10". Okay, well, Blank advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She stated he had his hands in his pockets. Is this a second guy? They said they believe someone else is involved. No bigger than 5'10". Richard Allen is a short little dude, and he was not dressed in all black. I don't know. You tell me what you think. She stated he had his hands in his pockets. Blank showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs included a photo of the bridge taken at 12:43 p.m. and another one taken at 1:26 p.m. of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Blank advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back towards Freedom Bridge. She advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from victim two's video. Blank described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. She advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulder. She advised Blank said hi to the man and that he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down. She advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with Blank, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th, 2017. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured Blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 1:46 p.m. toward the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. Blank advised there was no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She advised she walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male matching the one from victim two's video. She described the male she saw as a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears Farm, she passed the 2 girls walking towards Monon High Bridge. She advised she believed the girls were victim 1 and victim 2. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store shows at 1:49 p.m. a white car matching Blank vehicle traveling away from the entrance across from the Mears farm. Blank advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvest Store video at 2:14 p.m. leaving westbound from the trails. Blank advised when she was leaving, she noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old Child Protective Services building. She said it's not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked. Backed in near the building. Investigators received a tip from Blank in which he stated He was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. I'd love to know who that blank is. So the white vehicle was parked at the old CPS building. Do you guys think it might be parked so nobody could get the tag? The way they said it was odd the way it was parked, but it's not odd for cars to be parked there. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared as though it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. I just said that. Blank both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a smaller, dark colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described as possibly being a, in quotes, smart car. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 p.m. on the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th, 2022. That can't be. That's got to be 2017. They made a boo-boo. February 13th, and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North away from the Monon High Bridge. Blank advised that the male subject was wearing a blue collared jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. What? She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoosier Harvest Store that Blank was traveling on CR 300 North approximately 3:57 p.m. All right, so if he was seen muddy and bloody, and the girls were dropped off at what time? This happened really fast. Because you're looking a little bit after 1 o'clock and then traveling, but then that's blanked out at 3:57 p.m. We'll get back to that. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoosier Harvest Store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above. Witnessed by the juvenile girls blank and blank. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim 1 and victim 2. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. The narrative stated, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1336 and 1530. So between 1:30 and 3:30, because this is military time. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead, however, did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or videos. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. And there's a series of numbers. Potential follow-up information. Who were the 3 girls walking in the area of the Freedom Bridge? With a question mark. Investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former Child Protective Services building, as there was not a Farm Bureau building in that area, nor had there been. Investigators believe the females he saw included blank and blank due to the time that they were leaving the trail. the time he reported getting to the trail, and the description the three females gave. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned two vehicles in 2017, a 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembled Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harvest Store video at 1:27 p.m., traveling westbound on CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harvest Store, which coincided with his statements that he arrived around 1:30 p.m. at the trails. Investigators note witnesses described the vehicle parked at the former Child Protective Services building as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. Hang on, what did Natasha say? Were the victims located the day they are described? They were discovered on February 14th. All of this went down on February 13th. Okay, so they're saying that what witnesses described was actually his 2016 Ford Focus, and it was seen on camera at the Hoosier Harvest Store. On October 13th, 2022, I hope they have the date right this time, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails on February 13th, 2017. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trail east of Freedom Bridge and that he went on to the Monon High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. Oh, God. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well. Did he want to get caught? He's kind of basically describing what Bridge Guy had on that day. Let's listen to this again. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Good Lord. Okay, Ron Logan also supposedly had gone to another town to get tropical fish. What's up with these people and fish that day? Later in his statement, he said he walked out onto the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on a bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of an old building. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans, check, and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, check. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as well, check. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they were at his home. All right, buddy, giddy up. Which, by the way, this is not an uncommon outfit for anybody to be wearing anywhere, if you really want to know the truth. But anyhow, Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. Good God. On October 13th, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Carroll County, Indiana. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, firearms, including a Sig Sauer model P226 40 caliber pistol with serial number U625627. Between October 14th, 2022 and October 19th, 2022, the Indiana State Police Laboratory performed an analysis on Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The lab performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function test, barrel and overall length measurement, test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NIBIN. The lab determined the round located within 2 feet of victim 2's body had been cycled through Richard M. Allen's gun, model P226. The lab remarked an identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns of surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and experience. Investigators then ran the firearm and found that the firearm was purchased by Richard Allen in 2001. Richard Allen voluntarily came to the Indiana State Police Post on October 26, 2022. He spoke with investigators and stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the gun. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2. He again admitted that he was on the trail but denied knowing victim 1 or victim 2 and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank, why you blanking out the detective's name? Anyway, has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He has had an opportunity to review and examine evidence gathered in this investigation. Detective Blank, along with other investigators, believe the evidence gathered shows that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from victim 2's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to the location where they were murdered. Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of Blank and Blank were at the southeast edge of the trail at 12:43 p.m. east of the Freedom Bridge at 1:26 p.m. and walked across the former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25 after 1:26 p.m. and before 1:46 p.m. They walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. Blank vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harvestor video at 1:46 p.m. and leaving at 2:14 p.m. And she stated she only saw one adult male, Blank and Blank, described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all four saw the same male individual. Investigators believe the male observed by Blank and Blank is the same male depicted in the video from victim 2's phone due to the description of the male by the four females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, victim 2's video was taken at 2:13 p.m. and Blank saw only one male while she was on the trail from approximately 1:46 p.m. to 2:14 p.m. I wonder why in one part they're using military time, then in another part they're using AM PM time. I don't know. All right, page 7 looks like a repeat. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by Blank and Blank and the male seen on victim 2's video. Richard Allen told investigators he was on the trail, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. that day. Video from Hoosier Harvestor shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 p.m. toward the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male in victim two's video and the clothing descriptions provided by blank and blank. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14 p.m., and 2:28 p.m. at the former CPS building. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to Monon High Bridge and walked out onto the Monon High Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. Investigators identified other individuals on the trails or CR 300 north between 2:30 p.m. and 4:11 p.m. None of those individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw 3 girls on the trail who investigators believe to be, and it's blank. I gotta take a drink. My throat's getting dry. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 p.m. because he was in the woods with victim 1 and victim 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2 was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The gun was found at Richard Allen's residence and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated that he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Well, buddy, you admitted to having the same damn clothes on. You admitted to seeing, to hike in the bridge. You made yourself known that day, but you don't know how that bullet got there. You don't know how it came through your damn gun. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by blank walking back to the vehicle on CR 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. It blows my mind that he was seen muddy and bloody on February 13th, 2017, and that almost 6 years later, we finally have an arrest. I have always assumed that whoever killed Abby and Libby was never seen again, at least that day. So they think that he walked back to his vehicle on CR 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. I would love to know what time he got home, and if Kathy, who does the laundry, according to her Facebook when it was up, noticed muddy, bloody clothes. Blank, along with investigators, believe the statements made by the witnesses because the statements corroborate the timeline of the death. The 2 victims as well coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts relayed by blank and blank are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by blank correspond to the times the juvenile females said they were on the trail and saw male individual. Okay, that is the end of it. Page 8 does not have anything on it. What did Gino say? Hang on. Gino said, guess it was a chamber and ejected without firing. I'm going to put the link up to see what you guys think. In plain sight, to me, is now an understatement. They had the bullet. He's got the gun. The clothes were still hanging in the closet. He was seen on CR 300 around the trails, muddy and bloody. I cannot believe that that has never gotten out, that any witness saw a muddy, bloody man on February 13th, 2017. I cannot believe that. Tina said more like under our noses. Or their noses, for sure. At Christina. Plus, he lied about his alibi that day and night, too. Mary said, wonder if it was hunting season. In New York, we have small game, deer, bear, turkey. I don't know. I don't know about that in February. Could be. Adjusted Fate said it was out Brooks, just wasn't that detailed description. Well, there's been so many rumors in this case, you never know. You never know. Now, the blanks, the other people that were out and about that are named in this, I really hope that through process of elimination, these people are not bothered. I hope not. That could be the big reason for keeping this sealed. Because as far as another person being involved, that was no crashing revelation. Was it to you guys? I mean, I kind of think we always thought other people were involved. I wouldn't stop it too. They're already talking about a CP ring. Now, if he just told them, guys down the hill, gave the poor girls their marching orders, took them over onto Logan's property, shot them, walked down CR North 300. He was seen muddy and bloody. How does that fit into a CP ring? We're not talking about a lot of time here. We're not talking about a lot of time here. I don't want it to be any worse. Don't get me wrong. Let's see what AJ says. Hey, AJ, what do you think about the probable cause being released? I don't want it to be any worse. Don't get me wrong. Let's see what AJ says. Hey, AJ, what do you think about the probable cause being released?
I think it's ridiculous.
AJ, can you turn off your YouTube app? There's an echo.
I have.
No, I can hear myself.
Hold on.
AJ, can you turn off your YouTube app? Gino said, should be some text evidence if coordinated or call log with others. Yeah, Jesse, they were shot. Wow. Adjusted Fate said, when you find out how that crime scene was decorated, you will know more people had to be involved. And that is what I've always heard, that this crime scene was staged. He could have very possibly left people behind as he got on his merry way. How do we know he's not just the gunman? Christina said it fits because he posed them and certain photos are worth more than, Yeah, don't think that, I don't think it's extremely odd. Let's look at what they took out of the home. Known evidence taken from Allen's. Barbara McDonald has stated the following was taken. 2 bundles of dark clothing, well, dark cloth, a shoebox, a Macy's shopping bag, flash photography items in the shed. There was digging around the shed, a vehicle unsure of year and make. Not sure if he still had the Ford or not. Do you guys think it's purely speculation, but when the Kleins up and took off to Vegas really quick after this, that maybe they were off to sell pictures in person? Just a theory of mine. Good grandma. What about him having access to it's CVS photo developing? That's for sure. Black Cat said he might have changed his clothes at a different site close by in the woods. I'm sure no one checked the route back to his house. Well, I guess they're assuming that he drove home. It's always been my theory that he walked. Hey, AJ, what are you thinking?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, 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 good. How are you doing, first of all?
Good. Just I'm probably going to have to read this probable cause several times.
First of all, I think it's ridiculous. Bloody clothes. What's going on?
He was seen
And
by
he just
witnesses
got
on the
caught.
trail. Yep, he was seen by witnesses on the trail. And I forgot, I'm glad that Christina pointed this out. He wasn't working at CVS at the time, so there was a digital exchange.
Oh my word. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, then if they saw him with bloody clothes and mud on him, and the witness saw him and they reported it, why didn't they bring him in for questioning?
Because they didn't know who he was. They saw a person. They didn't know his name. They didn't have his address.
Weird.
They've been looking for this man for almost 6 years. Nani said, and I agree, Nani, 100%. There's gotta be more involved. Their bodies weren't found until the next day, and where they were found had been searched the day they went missing. Also, don't forget, it was a staged scene.
Yeah, it was planted there. Whoever, this is my opinion, my theory, whatever. Whoever done this with him, I think they were looking out for everybody to look for them. Then when they stopped looking, they put their bodies there.
Because it got quiet during the night, so they could have hid the girls in the shed. Now, I do not know. That's just a theory. That's just speculation because it's been mentioned about the shed on Logan's property. Angela, premeditated. He parked to hide his license plate. I agree. And it's even mentioned in the probable cause. The way he's parked was to hide the license plate. Gino, I love this comment. He's no criminal genius. Surprised arrest, not made much earlier. I am too. I'm really surprised. Unless they were just letting him go to CVS and go back home. Unless it's something like that. I can't imagine letting a killer out on the loose.
I think he done this as what he done. I don't know why, but I don't think this is his only killing.
Why?
I think he's done this before.
What leads you to believe that?
It's I don't know. It's very mysterious because have you seen the pictures of the daughters?
He has
His
one
daughter.
Yeah.
It looks like one of the girls. And there was killings like the same thing. 2 girls went on a hike. They were found unalived. Nobody knows who done it. Then he moved from that place, and here we are.
Are you talking about the 2 girls that were unalived in Evansville?
Yep.
He wasn't living in Evansville.
He wasn't?
No, he moved from, not saying that he can't drive. I mean, he's over 16. He has a driver's license. He lived in Mexico, Indiana, not the country, but the town, Mexico, Indiana. And then I believe it was in 2006, him and Kathy moved to Delphi.
Either it's a copycat killing or it's just a very big coincidence.
Oh, I don't think there's any coincidence at all, but I'm telling you, there's other people involved.
Yeah. There's obviously. There's 2 or 3. It's how do I say it? I mean, when I was studying the Chris Watts case, do you really think it was only him? Come on. Really?
I do.
No,
I
we
do, but that's a different case.
yeah. So, I mean, you can see oh my God, I don't know what to say. I'm like you, Brooke. I'm like, huh?
Well,
What?
I'm trying to get the image of this man walking around bloody and muddy, which, by the way, in rural areas, and this is going to sound strange to some people, if people have been hunting or something like that, you really don't think anything about it. But now, if he looked like he had been in some kind of altercation, you might. So that stuck out in their memory, that stuck out in their mind. I shouldn't say memory because they gave this account when it happened. I don't know. I think this was a big buildup, and I think there's other people involved. I think there's definitely some sort of digital evidence somewhere. I do.
There must be, and obviously they're keeping more to the vest. But
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because what's in the probable cause isn't everything.
no,
We still haven't heard about the crime scene. We don't have a cause of death. I mean, this is definitely enough. The fact that the bullet came from his gun that he purchased in 2001 and that it's been run through a lab, well, and of course, Richard, he doesn't know how it got there, right?
yeah, and I don't know. I'm just saying this is my speculation. Do you really think the wife didn't know? Come on, you're not a dumbass to wash somebody's clothes with blood and mud and not question it.
It could have been the one day that he decided to do his own chores, my friend. I really hate to throw this woman into it. I really
Maybe.
do. I mean, because could you just imagine what she's dealing with?
Oh
Because
my
this
word.
probable cause is out for her to see too, and she's going to remember that day and go, well, now hang on.
Yeah.
I mean, don't think a million things aren't going through her mind right now.
Not only that, Brooks. Just imagine he took a picture of his daughter and she looks exactly the same like one of the girls and on that bridge.
I have always, and I really got my ass handed to me when I said I thought that was really odd. That not only was the picture taken on the bridge, but that it was posted on her Facebook. It was posted in July of 2018.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really weird. A lot of people like, of course it's not. It's a great photo backdrop, blah, blah. And I'm like, come on.
No, it's weird. And because that's the places where the girls were.
Yep.
I mean, if that's coincidence, because other people believe in coincidence, but I think that's too. I know people call me mad, but I think that's too much of a thing. And then pausing in front of that picture where some killer. Yeah, it's just too much.
Oh, the whole thing is too much.
Too
And
much.
like I said, I'm glad you pointed it out. The probable cause is not everything. It's not everything at
Yeah.
all. And I mean, I think other people are going to come out. Not Richard. Huh. No, Richard. We haven't heard from Richard. Doug Carter said this was on November 3rd. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, in an interview Thursday with iTeam8, said his agency is still looking for others involved in the Delphi murders. Tips in the case, he said, are still coming in. So once they cracked with Richard, other people are pouring in. It's happened in other cases.
Yeah.
Like with Michael Vaughn. Once they arrested Sarah, suddenly the tip line is ringing again. So they arrest Richard, people start calling again. But he said this on November 3rd. Their agency's still looking for others.
Oh, I don't know. Brooks, it's just baffling to me. It's just really baffling. So many years, and they think there's other people involved, and probably there is one more person involved.
But that's
I
no
think there
but
really is.
that's no mic drop. You know what I'm saying? Let me
Yeah.
ask everybody in the chat. Do you think that, and obviously it's just our opinion, we have no stake in this game, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Do you guys think this should have been sealed at all? Like y'all's daughter said, I'm not sure why they wanted to keep this sealed. I mean, what in this blew us away? I mean, muddy and bloody clothes. He did park by the CPS building. He was seen on video at the Hoosier Harvest store. But what in this was really um what it I mean, I'm trying to find a way to phrase it because I'm a little perplexed.
Maybe they wanted to hide that, or he wanted to hide that he had a gun, and he knew there was bullets
And
or
that would
something like
be
that.
that would be something we would just assume. If you really
Mm,
know the truth.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many things, Brooks. I mean, because to him, probably I don't know. I don't think he's been ashamed at all that he's done it, and I think he was like, "Ha ha ha! They won't catch me," if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Well,
um,
and that is for sure because it's not like he was a pillar of the Delphi Society. You know what I
mhm,
mean? He
yep.
could have easily put in his 2 weeks notice at CVS a long time ago, and him and Kathy could have packed up and moved to another town and nobody would have missed them. It would not have seemed odd at all. It wouldn't have been anything like the case we were talking about this morning when the whole Wagner family packed up and moved to Alaska. Now that curled some toes. This would not have been odd to anybody. But he stayed there and again in plain sight. Adjusted fate. You're right. Attorney Mr. Baldwin is right. It's flimsy. Good thing they have more. I hope they have a lot more because
I
if
hope so
they kept
too.
it sealed because this is what they've got, he's gonna be okay.
I mean, I just hope they got much more than this. Obviously, I hope they do because they're well known for keeping things close to the vest, and it's like the Michael Vaughan case. I mean, I feel sorry for his mum. I really do. I mean, my heart breaks for her. My heart breaks. My
And I
heart
don't think
breaks for all
anybody
these people.
me too. And I don't think anybody expected they're not going to put their whole case out. We're not going to know the whole case even
No.
after the trial because they have to save stuff for appeals. I'm just
Yep.
really shocked about all the secrecy around this document. I really am.
Yep. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't know why they didn't take it out sooner, but at least we got it now. Sort of.
Yeah, well, we got it. This is the probable cause. This is what we've been waiting on. Let's see
Mm.
what Natasha has to say. Hey, Natasha, what do you think about this probable cause?
Hey, Brooks. First off, I have not looked into this case any at all, but just in the time that we've been spent talking on it today, I do believe there was somebody else.
Mhm.
And two, I know you said you didn't really want to put, her into it, his wife, but the bullet being unspent, I looked it up and it said that that just means that it hasn't been fired. The gun hasn't been fired. So the girls were shot. Is that correct?
That's what it appears.
Okay, so we don't know for sure. I
No,
mean, we don't know for sure, but for instance, say, okay, when did they interview the wife?
I'd have to go back through it. It was sometime in October of this year because in the video has been talked about for years. He
Mm-hmm.
says, guys down the hill. Well, it says in the probable cause also on the video. I dropped the link, Faye. It also says in the video that they hear one of the girls, it says victim one or victim two, they say gun. So it's always been speculated that the way he got them down the hill is he showed them a gun. So that's how he corralled the two girls.
Could the girls possibly said run instead of gun?
Well, they're the ones with the audio, not me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they say it's gun, it's gun.
Well, the reason you said that they had, was found the next day and they weren't there where they looked. I know personally from looking for people who are missing, people show up magically in spots that have been searched thoroughly. So that's what led me to believe that possibly his accomplice could be someone really close, someone that knows about the gun, knows everything, and they said it was staged. So how would they get a bullet for that gun unless they had access to those bullets and that gun?
It's his damn gun. He bought it in 2001. Also, the warrant for Ron Logan's property that was leaked, I guess you could say, back in the spring of 2022, mentioned a very, very bloody crime scene and a sharp-edged weapon. So
Wow.
the fact that he got the hell out of Dodge so fast tells me maybe somebody else came after he did his thing.
Right. I'm wondering though too, because okay, I know I'm sorry, probably having that like recap a lot of things, but
No, you're fine.
the blank person who's given the description of the girls and everything else, in my opinion, only this statement here, they're saying no taller than 5'10". If it was a juvenile given these questions to, being as a witness or whatever, not all juveniles know to say no taller than like 5'10" or whatever they'd say, he's a little bit taller than, but the fact that they said no taller than and gave a number, that caught my attention. I don't know. And like you had said with clothes washing, okay, I'm sorry, but if my husband come in muddy and bloody, and I had seen on the news or something other about missing girls or whatever in that area where my husband was supposedly have been, because I don't know where my husband's been, that would have been a red flag right there.
Well, I mean, unless he washed his own clothes or he had them in a trash bag in the garage, I don't think he walked in muddy and bloody for his wife.
I don't know.
I mean, I think this was kept very, very, very much under wraps. Here's the clip, not the clip, but it's just from a news article. An FBI search warrant revealed that law enforcement believed the girls lost a lot of blood during their murders with an unspecified weapon and were not killed in the same location where their bodies were discovered. So the probable cause that we just read.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Adjusted Fate. Thank you. Wife worked at the veterinarian office. She probably wasn't off until 5 or after. And that particular office, I don't know about February 13th, was sometimes open till 6, 7 o'clock at night. Thank you, Adjusted Fate. All right, so there's just no way it's just him.
Right.
Because there's another weapon involved. This probable cause is just to hang his ass. I still don't know why there's going to be a reason, and we'll find out later, I'm sure.
Well, and another thing I was going to ask too about this blank person giving the answers to these questions, why didn't they go back and look? I mean, were they aware that they were juveniles on the bridge with that guy or whatever? I mean, if this is an adult giving the answers, blank person giving an adult, then, I personally, I wouldn't care about getting hurt or not. If I seen some man come out of the woods being muddy and bloody and I knew there was two female kids on the bridge, I would have went back.
I don't know when this was reported to them. I'm sure when it came out that 2 girls had been found deceased on Ron Logan's property, they probably started making phone calls like, hey, we saw some weird stuff that day. But that's not in the probable cause yet, so I don't know.
And that should be. Honestly,
it wouldn't be in the probable cause. It's just enough to make an arrest. A probable cause is just enough to slap the handcuffs on. That's all it is.
You're right. It would be in the facts document that comes out afterwards, I believe.
I'm just kind of blown away by what I'm reading. It's horrific. It's horrible this happened to these girls. Of course, there's so much more that we got out of the FBI search warrant that came out in the spring. That still blows my mind. Like I said, the probable cause is just to put the silver bracelets on Richard. But why seal it?
Right.
This just doesn't seem like anything earth-shattering to seal. That's just my opinion, though.
in my opinion, the reason it would be sealed is because the person given the answers was a juvenile at the time. They are no longer juvenile now, unless one of the suspects that they have not named yet was a juvenile too, or whatever at the time.
That could be, because I mean, it's a small town, and by process of elimination, you could figure out who came across who on the bridge, which I cannot believe Adjusted Fate might know that hasn't come out. I don't want to know. I don't want to talk to him. But
Right.
hey, Bonnie said, Gino, that's what my husband said. What did Gino say? By the way, we have some new names in here, guys, so please hit the sub button. Christina said thumbs up for Brooks. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, thumbs up, definitely. And I have to say this to you, Brooks. I love how you do your lives and stuff, because this case, I mean, just over an hour we've been in here right now, and I am so intrigued. It's going into my list of cases to research, definitely. This morning I hated that, but with my treatments and stuff I have to do, it my body is just zonked, and I literally was going to sleep while you was talking this morning. That's why I was like, I got to go back to bed. So
that case this morning, that's a crazy one too.
I may be related to them rodents.
Well, hell.
I mean, I may be. I'm still trying to wait for my cousin to message me back, but I'm gonna be like, oh my God, are you serious? But some of the stuff you were describing there, it did resemble some of the things that goes on in my family. So yeah, anyway, but back to this.
Mama B says, I think it's sealed because there's more involved. Yeah. And I 100% believe that there's more involved. Just that wouldn't blow my mind. And those that are involved already know Richard's been arrested. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing.
What about the owner of the property?
Who, Ron Logan? He passed away.
Oh, he did. When?
When did Ron pass away, guys? Was it late 2021, or it wasn't that long ago?
So it's been fairly recent then. So my guess is that, this is just my opinion again, that maybe if he did have something to do with it, then they can actually unseal the documents now and get it out there, and that way more people can come forward on the tip line, like you said, and they can actually pinpoint if there was another one with him, and if it was it this Logan guy possibly, because did him and this Allen guy have a relationship of any type?
I don't know. I want to know if they know KK, Tony Klein, who is a monster. I really thought earlier in the fall, I'd say August, there was a lot of rumors circulating from the murder sheet, and I really thought that they were going to arrest Tony Klein. Big fail, bunch of rumors. Kelsey herself put on Twitter, don't listen to any of this stuff. It actually kind of jeopardized some things. Adjusted Fate say, my big question is, what the hell was PB doing in the cemetery and didn't hear or see anything? Give me a break.
So there's a cemetery close by?
Yeah.
Already, like I said, I'm intrigued majorly now, and I would like to have all the documents that there is available so I can dive into this, because yeah.
And it is true, they have never said that the Kleins are involved. They are just such dirty ass people. I've just never seen how, especially with this CP ring, that they couldn't be entwined somewhere.
Exactly.
Sam Maker said, it says in the affidavit that he didn't know the homeowner where the girls were found. People have always wanted to link, I shouldn't say want, that's a bad word to say like that. They wanted to link Ron Logan, probably because, he lied about where he was that day. Let's bring up our friend Faye. Hi, Faye.
Hello.
What are you thinking about this being released? And do you think it needed to?
I just heard it. I just heard about it. That's shocking to me because, the family wants everything never released, right? But what does it say? What's the juicy stuff? I don't mean any disrespect.
It's very juicy for sure.
I would just, what stuck out to you guys in chat? I would say that a laboratory tested his gun. He bought the gun in 2001. That it matches the bullets found between Abby and
So
Libby.
first shot.
Well, we say that, but if we go back to the FBI warrant, I have it on the screen.
Ron Logan's fault. Oh, yeah.
FBI search warrant revealed that law enforcement believed the girls lost a lot of blood during their murders with an unspecified weapon, but then they had mentioned an edged weapon at some point. I don't know.
They did on the fifth year anniversary when they did the HLN special.
Mm-hmm.
They said they used the words edged weapon, which confused me because I'm like, why can't you just say knife? But okay.
Right.
But oh, I'm so excited. Sorry. The other, Ron Logan's search warrant, where he let that out to his friends and stuff before the press got a hold of it and before he died. But didn't it also say on there that there was an unusual amount of blood? Like,
unusual amounts.
Yeah, like it was like he should have blood somewhere because that was her theory. Like he lives so close, it's got to be this dude. Like that's kind of what I read into it. Yeah. So, but before people were there, right? In the the meeting place. It's only it's the trails they took are 505. And I think another one is, I can't remember, 510 or 520 or 515. That represents how many steps they have to take to get to the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So if he shot them, someone would have heard it.
Right.
Is it possible maybe they're looking for a gun because they have, I wonder if they have it on video on the make of the gun or something.
They have
like
his
flash.
Gun. They have his gun.
Right. But you said there was the bullets left?
The bullet was unspent, which means it came from that gun, but it had not been fired.
There you go. That's what it is. That's what they got. Then they got him. Dead rights.
But the bullet had not been fired, is what I'm saying.
Right. But he was there.
To go back and read the probable cause. It's crazy. It's in Discord, by the way. The probable cause. We put it in there. But they have his gun. I mean, they went to the house. They have, he basically described Bridge Guy's outfit and said he had it on that day. Who the hell remembers what they were wearing February 13th of 2017? Obviously, he would, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And he stayed far away in pictures, if you notice, except for that blue coat. He has gone nowhere near plaid or any normal Indiana wear in any videos I've seen. Like, it's really hard to catch him. It's just like he went on a vacation, I think, like a month or two later, or a year later, or maybe 6 months later with his wife. And they were like doing this like rock climbing and all this stuff. And he was just really trying to stay away from the camera. In my opinion, it just seemed like he did not want his photo taken.
That makes sense there if somebody else is involved. And he's not the main culprit for him to stay behind, because someone who does this type of crime, this amount of blood that was left, then that would be like a trophy to them almost, in a way. So they would want, their picture to be taken and things like that.
But see, on the tape, the parents did say that they whoever it was brandished a weapon, because you can hear Libby saying, "Is that a gun?" Yeah. Or Abigail. I think it was Abigail. In the audio.
The video, all they've ever released to the public is first it was down the hill, then it was guys right. The hill, but now in the probable cause, they say that in that video, which we haven't heard, one of the girls says gun. But that's
okay.
Probable cause. Yeah.
I think it was Anna. I may be Anna Williams may have let that out in an interview a couple of years ago, that they heard the girls ask, "Is that a gun?" like between themselves. But it could be, hearsay. I don't know.
You can faintly see him holding something in the video, and it's always been speculated that it's a gun. Some people have put it up and said it's a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we know now that they didn't die by gun. Well, kind of. I go off of the other affidavit, but wasn't the FBI agent fired for that? or let go for that for Logan's?
I don't know about that. Hawkeye, you're right. Knowing his gun is a match to the bullet, that's crucial evidence.
It's major. Sorry.
Even though old Richard is like, I don't know how it got there.
His gun or the bullet?
The bullet. They didn't find his gun. They found a bullet.
Okay. Well, I mean, can you imagine if he has a box of bullets at home and that's the one that's gone?
Well, and from what I've always understood by what the search warrant and basically from what the murder sheet has said is there's a lot more to this than the probable cause. And I'm not trying to sound like I want like all of this, horrific, nightmarish information, but
I want to know. And sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm so horrible at that. You'll have to mute me. Go ahead.
But I mean, what happened to Libby, from what I'm understanding, is horrific.
Yeah, correct. That is, everyone focuses on Libby. And I found that kind of sad because it was like, there were 2 victims. I mean, but a lot of a lot of creators and sick people,
Could it be that Libby was trying to get away or whatever, and that's what made hers more horrific than the other one?
I think she was the target.
Oh, really?
Is what the main contention, in my opinion. I think she was targeted. I don't think that they expected her to bring another individual, whoever they are. I don't think they expected her to bring Abby with her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense because most killers, when they have a target, they just want that one target. But when there's another one, then that complicates things, kind of like the situation with Idaho right now.
Yeah. And she had begged her own sister to go. And her sister kind of went back and forth, but finally said, no, I got so much to do. I got to go to work. And they had, so she didn't want to go alone. So her angels were ringing them bells.
I think for sure Libby was the target because she was the one that was communicating with the Anthony Shots profile. Keegan, or KK, whatever you want to call him, was the last person to speak with her on that profile. We know for sure.
Yep.
She shows up. I think Abby was unexpected.
Yep.
But I think she was, and I think Libby put up a fight. And from what I'm understanding, Doug Carter calls it the totality of evil, what was done.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, Libby weighed 200 pounds, and she could. I mean, she was into sports. She was, and I'm not calling her fat. She was just a big, healthy boned girl. But if you look at who I think who they have now, him being bridge guy, I bet you she could take that guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he probably has adrenaline pumping, but that probably scared her friend frozen, right? And instead of running off, but the parents have always said the girls stuck together to the end. So sad what happened. But yeah, I want to know. I want to know, but I don't want to disrespect the family when I find out, kind of deal.
Well, I said I want all pictures, on testimonies, everything. Call me
I want it all. It's
you
not
want to be in there.
Call me private tea.
because old boy isn't even going to see. He isn't even going to get his bail hearing until February. I think like pre-trial is, I think it was
bail.
In March. Bail is in February. There's not going to be a pre-trial in March. They just threw some dates out there. We know this is going to go on for years, but in the meantime, I hope they whoever else is involved. They probably have a damn good idea or no, but
and that's why they unsealed it.
Knowing and proving are two different things.
You think that's why they unsealed it?
That's probably a definite why they unsealed it. Definitely, probably.
That's smart.
Well, it's been sealed for a damn month.
Yeah.
It's not like this was the first time anybody asked.
Right.
They said they were going to keep it sealed when they did the press conference a month ago. They said that they have this public hearing. They talked about it, I think, on the 22nd. Yesterday, the judge said she was undecided. I just did a video about this morning. And then this afternoon, they unsealed it. And then I read it and I'm like, well, now we already knew they were going to redact names. They do it in every probable cause. That's not a thing. But what I wanted, but why seal this? It's not a jaw dropper that anybody else would be involved unless there's something in there they're afraid someone involved would run. But I don't know.
Is the wife and this dude that we're talking about, are they still together?
Oh, yeah. And his defense attorney has already said that she stands behind him 100%. She does not think he has anything to do with this.
There's our answer right there, y'all.
What?
Access to the bullet, access to all this stuff.
But do we know? I'm trying to be fair here. Do we know that his wife knows that? Do we know that his wife knows that they found a bullet between Abby and Libby that fits his gun?
Yeah.
Well, look at what Hawkeye
they sat down and told her.
Hawkeye just said he confessed to being there as a witness, his bullet surveillance, and more evidence, no doubt. Who else would know all of this information and know how to cover it up except that of someone who's a ride or die partner, your wife, your soulmate, whatever?
I've never seen, wow, that's crazy. I've seen serial killer dudes hang out together, but not, there's rarely like the Bonnie and Clyde kind of stuff that goes on.
She knows now.
But man. She knew before we did, because I'm sure the FBI sat her bottom down and wanted to know what she knew, and then told her what they knew.
And did she give them the clothing, the dark colored clothing?
Yeah, they need someone. They need someone to make friends with. If other than that, or they have to get like orders and stuff signed. So they try and get in close with the family.
Well, they had a warrant. They went to the house. I mean. Yeah. Here, I'll put up what they took out of the house. They had a warrant. They went to the house, and of course they talked to her and said she sat in the driveway for like 10 hours. She was sitting in the driveway.
Oh, wow, yeah. They've got him down.
Cars and stuff, because I couldn't get past the neighbors. A couple of the neighbors gave interviews to Wish out of Indianapolis, and they were like, yeah, we saw some unmarked cars, but we didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, well, that could be part of the problem. Nobody thinks anything of anything. But this is what they took. 2 bundles of look like clothing, a shoebox, a Macy's shopping bag, flash photography items out of the shed. There was digging around the shed and a vehicle. So she definitely knew something was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Served the warrant to the house.
Oh, yeah.
A Macy's shopping bag. How many men have a Macy's shopping bag?
And and this is just, I'm just saying, just to add on top of your list, there's the picture of her laying with I don't know if you knew or heard, but their daughter wearing the Abby and Libby t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And you can't see the daughter's face. Her head's in the pillow and a cat's on her bottom sleeping. Mm-hmm. And it says, it's for the girls. It's a t-shirt that was bought for the girls. And it says Abby and always remember Abby and Libby on the back of it. Wow. So he had that in his house. I mean, creepy. Yeah. It's so weird that a wife would stick by.
She's a Sandra Wonder.
It just makes you. That's so weird to me. See it, Brooks. It really is, because they normally distance themselves. You know what I mean? Like get the emergency divorces or get the heck out of Dodge so no one comes after me or mine. And for her to, because I read a letter, the last thing I read was the court letter and how he, the thing was so pathetic. He said she's afraid to be in our home. And that's a sign of troubled marriage when you have to say the word our. Of course, we're going to assume it's ours, right?
Well, and like you said, in most of these cases, whether they got married right out of high school or not, like they keep talking about these two, they get unmarried real quick. They separate themselves. But there's nothing. She's with him, I guess. This is what freaked me out more than anything. His daughter resembles Libby. Right. And his wife posted this on her Facebook. I don't know exactly when the picture was taken, but July 5th of 2018. Now, I just thought that was odd because her Facebook is pretty much wiped clear for the year 2017. And you post this. And if I don't live in Indiana, I don't live in Delphi, I know the significance of this bridge and that it's almost considered haunted for some people.
I wouldn't even. Oh, I'm scared of heights.
Is the daughter still alive? I take it, right? I mean,
Yes, she's married. He was in her
That's
wedding.
what I was going to ask you, Brooks. If you know what age she was in that photo.
I don't know exactly when the photo was taken, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Because when I was looking at it, I deducted that she would have been right entering, if not in college, in the middle of it, or even out. I think I got theorized she would have been out of college, so it was really weird that it would like it was taken. You know how you take school picture graduation photos for your kids and you do those poses and stuff. I thought maybe that was done for her high school thing, but
senior picture.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm too excited. I gotta get up here and ramble, but yeah. Yeah, normally they distance themselves, these wives, and the last time we were on together, Brooks, I was asking myself, is it fair to start asking questions about wife? I didn't want to be disrespectful, but man.
Well, I'm trying to
get to everybody.
I'm trying to give it till at least after Christmas, and I figure then she's going to start separating herself because the gun ties him to this crime.
Oh yeah.
100%. He says he never loans the gun out. Nobody else has it.
There you have it.
Well, so
and can't they tell if it's actually been
fired?
Not fired, no, but loaded inside the gun.
Oh yeah, you missed half the show. In the probable cause, it said it's been tested at the laboratory already. They did. Yeah. They know.
Yeah, I did miss half the show. I know. That's why I was like, what? I was just getting on to post about a live I'm doing later, and I saw you live, and I was like, oh my god, I got to jump in. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
You're fine.
Yeah, but the key there is that bullet was unspent, which means that it just adds more to the crime scene being staged and things like that. So you got to figure out who staged the crime scene.
You think somebody come up later and say on stage? Oh, I wanted to tell you.
Well, the girls weren't there the day that this supposedly happened. So, and they were found the next day. Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a staged scene.
Libby or Abby's, my goodness, Libby's sister did confirm that one of the girls' sweatshirt was taken from the crime scene. You remember how you were saying you thought maybe he walked home?
Yeah.
If he did this and was able to, he could have put her sweater on. And I know that sounds weird, but they were kind of like the same in build, or just put it on over clothes or whatever. To what if he was walking? Do you still think he walked home?
No, not according to the probable cause.
Okay.
They said that he walked on CR 300 back to his vehicle.
Okay.
And they took a vehicle with them. So if they find Libby and Abby's blood in it, because he was bloody and muddy, it could still be there even after all this time.
Well, it could. He probably went and had it cleaned professionally. That's a question for his wife. She'd know.
Mm-hmm.
Or say it's their daughter's shirt.
Yeah. But that sweater, there is information that a sweater was, I believe it was Libby's sweater, was taken from the crime scene as like a token.
Well, maybe it was in the Macy's bag. They don't say what's in everything. They don't say what they took in the probable cause.
Yeah.
Adjusted Fate said they took the truck, though. Oh, good catch. Yep.
I mean, whoever said that this vehicle resembled a PT Cruiser, a Ford Focus, I don't care if it's a hatchback or not, it does not resemble a PT Cruiser.
Well, you got to look at the age of the people that were given the information, though, too.
True.
They said it's like a smart car, and they said, given all of this, they think that they were looking at his, because they went through the cars that he owned that year.
Why in the hell would somebody? I'm sorry. Why would I just seen the picture? My other phone's slow, so it just showed it. Why would they do that? Take a picture of their daughter on that bridge.
I don't know.
After the murder, no idea. Before the murder, explainable. Not after.
Well, before the murder is one thing. Before the murder is one thing. You know,
Right.
you have this picture and you're like, oh God, beautiful picture, but yeah, we know what happened out there. But
Yeah.
they post it just out of the blue, July of 2018. I just thought that was really weird.
It's like her saying, I know, to him. It could have been maybe they were, you know, that was something that she has over him. Because remember how the press conference of 219 said, we believe that you have told someone or they know because of how different you are after the crime.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if he drunk snitched on himself because they drank a lot. Oh, well, pardon me.
But she was involved in it.
They go to the bar a lot. So, but I don't drink. So a lot to me is, you know, once a week. But yeah, maybe that's something that she figured it out, and that was her way of telling him. And then maybe he even talked with her about it. Who knows? But if she's standing by his side now, like, I'm sorry, that's just so weird to me. A murderer is a murderer.
Or maybe she was involved and she put that picture up to let him know, I know what happened that day.
Yeah. And that's probably why they stayed in the area too, right? I mean, if we go off that theory, because why would they have to move if they have each other's backs?
She's kind of, the thing is though, if you've seen her Facebook, which she took it down again, she's a real goofy ass woman.
There was some weird stuff that she posted. Like,
I mean, she's real.
She does. I agree.
Like they were taking shots, and she like looks at the
camera,
I know,
right?
She's like real animated, and she's like,
oh, who's that type that fits that profile then of someone who would definitely have some kind of, you know, action into what happened. So I mean, that right there is the key to the holding gun. And my question is why don't they have her arrested as well? Because surely they think that. Because I know I'm not
going to go down that road that she's anywhere part of this or that she was aware and covered up or anything. I will say she is goofy AF.
Yeah, yeah, and she is the one that took stuff. Yeah, you remember that picture in the bar where they have the picture of the young sketch, babyface sketch up in the background, or where they was. And it was her taking that selfie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he even realize that it was behind him? Because I put the hero in this picture.
She sure. Yeah. But look at her.
That's her.
Yeah. Yep. But it's almost like they made it. They made it. I mean, looking now at it, I could. Maybe it's just my mind, but it looks like it was taken on purpose, like just a small little neener kind of thing, you know, like a sick one. But
well, I mean, not to mention when you walk into the damn CVS, he walked there. Here's the main entrance.
That is mind blowing. But would you really expect it? That's mind blowing. That's
he had to look at his own picture every day.
He was probably like, "Hey, partner."
It's one thing everybody on the way in. About her, look at him. He had to walk by his own picture. He developed film for the family. It was known at the CVS. If the family comes in and they want these flyers printed, we do it. You know, we do it for free. He has waited on the family before.
Yeah. And didn't he? I bet you he made because he developed the film, or I don't know if he personally developed it, but. He handed the film to Becky Patty of their funerals.
It was Tara.
Also, people are sick.
I know, right? So, I mean, having those photos, I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, if he had picture stuff going on in the shed, he probably wanted those underground or in a box somewhere.
And I think that this woman, I think Kathy, would really accept any story from him, to be quite honest. If you look at the BTK killer, because the minute I heard about this, not about Delphi, but about his arrest, I see Kathy's Facebook, and let me tell you what, I was a trolling bitch that day. I looked at everything I could get a hold of on
That's
her.
gonna be me.
I mean, I wouldn't let it loose. And I kept saying BTK, because BTK everything was in his wife's face, and it's like she couldn't see the obvious going on
Yes.
around her.
Yes. But see, she got an emergency 30-day emergency on the spot, like an on the spot divorce. Like they were divorced within 30 days. And it was an
She
emergency
wasn't dealing
hearing.
with it, what she said.
But still, you know what I'm afraid of? I heard the defense attorney say, we want to hear from everybody and we want to hear everything you guys have, like to the public. And all these people up here on YouTube that used to, there was one guy, I don't know if you remember Sean Harmon, but he thought his dad and son were the sketches, and he died. And that footage
Lots of people did.
Yeah,
Lots of people
I know,
did.
right? But like that kind of stuff, I really think that he's encouraging, hey, you guys are out there bugging the judge, bug me, because they have to get any little doubt, just one little doubt in the juror's mind.
Well, and that is the biggest problem, which we're very, very early in on this. We just saw the probable cause. But last week, when they were talking again about the probable cause, here comes the DA. He's talking to the press, and he mentions a second person. Doug Carter said on November 3rd, they think other people are involved. Well, that kicks the door open for reasonable doubt. So you're going to have the other guy.
That's a great point.
You have the other guy defense, and we haven't even had a bail hearing.
Right.
That's a great point. Wow. My mind.
So the feds are over this case then, for sure now? The feds are the ones handling it?
Oh, they have been from the get. Well, I shouldn't say the feds, but I mean, Indiana State Police. I mean, the superintendent himself has been hands-on with this case for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it still gives me chills when I think about the 2019, was it 2019? The New Direction press conference.
Yes, that's the one.
The New Direction, when it was chilling. It was like something out of a movie, and he talked about that movie, The Shack, and everything.
Yep.
And exactly, Adjusted Fate. They've been saying multiple people since day one. So the whole, we have to keep this sealed because there could be other people. You've been saying, we've been thinking that since 2016 anyway.
Right.
I
can't imagine the volume of people and calls they're getting now. I cannot imagine, because now that Richard's caught and they're looking for another person, can you imagine the crazy calls now? Well, my neighbor's, he did something pretty crappy yesterday. I think he did it. Like, he's the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I caught
more about the person who answered the questions, the witness or whatever they've got.
I caught Mr. McLeod. How do you pronounce his name? I don't want to. The DA. I caught him slip in his last pressure, which I think was after 219 or 20. Sorry. He said, he was asked, what do you have to say to the killer if the killer's watching? And he raised an eyebrow and he said, well, I'm solving it. We're going to get this case solved. And then he says, I will be sitting across from either he or she. I'll be sitting across the table from you. And I'm like, why is he throwing a female in there? Like, that was weird to me.
Just trying to be cool.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. I mean, because it was just kind of an on-the-spot answer. It wasn't like a Freudian slip or anything. I'm going to look at this old clip. I say it's old. This is from last spring. And this is around the time, after the time, when the FBI search warrant came out. And they talk about this crime scene was tampered with. Which we knew that. None of this is really a surprise.
More than 5 years after their bodies were found, new details surrounding the Delphi investigation into the deaths of two girls. The families of Abby Williams and Libby German are still waiting for justice.
Yeah, but the mystery surrounding what happened to the teens continues to capture global attention. And a true crime podcast is unveiling new information from documents tied to the case. WRTV's Rafael Sanchez has been following this case since the very beginning and has the new developments for us tonight at 5. Rafael.
Mark and Nicole, good evening. Major developments tonight at 5. There have been thousands of tips in this case, and of course, pleas for help. Tonight, the podcast shedding new light on a case that remains unsolved. The deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi in February 2017 have drawn international attention.
This is a case where people see Abby and Libby, the two victims in this case, and they think that could have been my daughters, that could have been my sisters, that could have been me.
Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee are behind the podcast known as The Murder Sheet. They obtain court documents that provide information previously not made public. We've known for years that the girls, Abby and Libby, their bodies were found on the property of then 77-year-old Ronald Logan, who's dead. New details. Per the podcast, Logan asked a relative to lie about his whereabouts on the day of the murders, that Logan's phone puts him near the old Monon High Bridge, and that Logan's former lover thought he was involved. And the crime scene appears to have been tampered with by someone.
The bodies were staged. We don't know exactly what that means, or there's no real details about what exactly they're talking about there, but it's certainly, possibly very disturbing detail. And another thing is that it mentions that it would have been, a very brutal, bloody crime.
Kane and Greenlee say they redacted the documents that could hurt the ongoing investigation.
We can tell you that we reached out to law enforcement yesterday. We had some pretty serious and long discussions with them, and they made the case that there were a couple of things in the warrant that could potentially harm the case if they were released, and so we did take those out.
Tonight, state police and the Carroll County Sheriff's Office say that they're not the source of the documents and that this investigation remains ongoing. Mark?
Some chilling details there. A reward of $325,000 is still being.
It's been nuts from the get.
$325,000 reward. Let me go to Indiana.
You cannot throw a rock in that state. And I don't mean to disrespect Indianans, but what this investigation has shown me is you just cannot throw a rock in that state without hating Ed Chumel. It's like they all live there. Why? I don't get it.
It's crazy. I'm going to play a clip where they were asking Doug Carter, top cop of Indiana, specifically about Ron Logan. I think this is the one. Hang on.
This is your guy?
The judge signed the probable cause affidavit for the arrest of Richard Allen for 2 counts of murder. Yes.
Do you think there are other people involved?
I'm not going to go there.
He said, I'm not going to go there. When asked specifically about Ron Logan, he said, this is still an active and ongoing investigation. He said, we haven't ruled anybody out. And there's some people, they are dead set that Ron Logan have something to do with this. I'm not going to be surprised at all if he's not. He'd be a real dumbass. That's his property.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the first thing the defense is, if this goes to court, that's the first thing that the defense will shoot at is Ron. And he's passed. So it's easy to smear a dead man in court, unfortunately.
That's going to be a big problem because he can't take the stand to defend himself. It might be this clip. Hang on.
Really hope that now that we're in this phase of prosecutorial process and due process, because everyone's innocent until they're proven guilty.
Are they though? I'm just kidding.
They arrested that girl in the Shanquella Robinson case that just popped up.
It's just crazy. Chris said, I didn't see that you were on. I know. We popped in. Mama B told me about that it was unsealed. And I had mentioned in the last show that we might be going live. So it was kind of an impromptu thing. And this is true. Adjusted fate. Okay, so the warrant was prepared in early March of 2017. And then on Twitter, I want to say it was like March 14th. It was after. No, I might have that backward. They came on Twitter and said that he's not involved. I don't know. Like I said, he'd be a real dumbass.
And then he passed away, correct? I mean,
what can they do?
Was his death natural or was it?
Yeah, COVID. I think it was COVID that took out Ron Logan. I believe he's innocent, in my opinion. I mean, right off the rip, when he was on television cameras with a camera crew, he was asked to actually say the words down the hill. And the way that he said them and how easily and fluent it came out, that to me convinced me right there. I was like, that's innocence to me. But then again, I never really thought that there were two people involved. If anything, if two people beyond that came to play with me, was the client like setting up the arrangement and then this person doing that, not two people at the scene actively,
I've always thought, even though they haven't said, and they don't have to say for it to be true, and it's just a speculation, I just have always thought the Kleins were in it somewhere.
Yeah.
And that it's just too coincidental that the Anthony Schatz profile speaks to Libby. I say speaks, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that day,
right. Yeah.
she suddenly now wants to go out to the bridge, gets Kelsey to take him out there. This wasn't something already pre-planned. They go out there, and then he just happens to come across them. I've just always thought that was a little much.
Yeah. And they're going to have to explain that in court. But yeah. And even Klein himself, when he's being the CCM documents, if you can get past those and go I think it's 126, like the final last page is where they start talking about Libby and Abby and Libby. He completely denies everything. And they're like, no, remember this? Like, you remember talking to her and saying that she got on your nerves, so you blocked her and she was irritating. And they started to, and then he was like, oh yeah, that.
He's such a pathological liar too. And I think it's just out of fear of his dad, because his dad is a damn monster.
Yes. Yep.
His dad is a damn monster.
This dude lies about stuff you don't need to lie about. I mean, he'll do it.
The only thing that KK has said that I believe is when he said, but I wouldn't have ever met them. He would never have met any of these girls in person, just because of the way he, I mean, I'm not calling him ugly. I'm not saying anything about
you can. You're allowed to.
But I just he would have never worked up the nerve to meet any of these girls in person. For one, he looks nothing like Anthony Schatz. But when he said, he even almost said it in passing, well, I would have never met them. I would have never met any of them. That's the only thing he said that I really believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude lies about, if paint is wet. It's weird. Everything. It's so hard. Like, why? But I think he's just gotten so used to it. Like, his whole family were so they're like, yeah, they were pretty passive about it. Like, yeah, he's just a flat out liar. He lies about everything, any and everything, and has forever. Oh, jeez.
Well, and him sitting in jail all this time and not doing what he needs to, well, that's a different story. That's a totally different show. I think he's just scared shitless of his dad. I really do. His dad is a monster.
Yeah, he is. He is. But see, he was the golden child. He watched everyone else get their butt kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan was never touched in what's put out there. As far as the siblings, the family say. Now, I don't know what happens behind closed doors, but I mean, that's a high-risk lifestyle. Something could have happened to him. Something did happen to him. I mean, look at what he looks at. He's not right in the head, and he's sitting right where he belongs.
And like Crybaby said, the connection is Abby and Libby.
Yep.
All right, guys. I hate to leave good company, but I feel like I have been live since like 6
in the
morning.
Well, I got to take care of some stuff too. This is my morning now.
Thank you for having me up.
Hey, anytime. I love having you guys up. I'll see y'all over in Discord.
All right, see you later. Bye.
Y'all have a good night.
Hey guys, thanks for popping in. I know that it wasn't a scheduled live. And when we were talking about little Quentin, that's when Mama B said, "Oh, they are unsealed." And I'm like, we got to jump in and talk about this. So I don't know why they were sealed for so long, but they were. And now we know. And now we know. And more and more and more and more is going to come out. And we will continue to follow Delphi. It's like one of those cases. You say Delphi, people don't talk about Greek mythology or anything. They're not even talking about the town. Didn't even know there was a town called Delphi in Indiana. They know exactly what you're talking about when you say Delphi. So I'll see you guys over in Discord in a little bit or in one of the Facebook groups. If I bump into you, that'd be great. If not, be back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have some more stuff on the Idaho 4. You guys are the absolute best. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. See you guys later.